Baseball family, welcome back as we go ahead and discuss Panic or Patience. This is one we do every month as we go into the next cycle, 30-day cycle of baseball throughout the season. We're going to tell you what we think for each team. This is a particularly interesting news cycle, though, because the trade deadline is happening Tuesday, and we are midway through all of the kerfuffle that is going on with the trades, and there have been some big splashes, some confusing splashes, and some when are we going to see it question marks popping up. Wouldn't you say that's pretty good summary, Brad?
I would say that's exactly how it's going. There are guys who have been moved who you didn't think were going to be moved this early. There are guys who you thought would be moved before and have not been moved.
Right.
As of this point, being Sunday night of a pre-recorded episode.
Yep.
So
we're making a little confused faces really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say though, Brig, you brought up the 30-day news cycle of the season, right?
Yep.
I feel like the way that we do things now with like the emoji tiers and Panic or Patience and the way we have things going through the season, it's made it go really, really fast.
I agree with you.
This season has gone so fast. I can't
really
believe
is.
that it's like we're knocking on the door of August already.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Because if you
Kids
think
are
about
ready
it,
to go back to school.
we are almost a clean 60 days away from the playoffs.
Yeah.
60 days away from the playoffs.
There are fewer than 60 games left in the season.
Yep. Unbelievable.
We are inside of the COVID season already.
Whoa, isn't that weird?
It is a sprint to the finish. No more saying the season is long because it is not anymore.
Nope. And we're going to get into some of those teams who are no longer saying much of anything and teams who are saying a lot. First, we're going to start as we always do with the American League East. All right? We're going to talk about panicking or patience. Blue Jays start at the bottom. What are you doing, Brad, if you're the Blue Jays?
Selling. You're not having panic or patience. You're selling.
Yeah.
You're selling everything. I understand you've got one more year with Vlad and Bichette. But Bichette has been slowly declining. Get what you can for him now before the trade deadline. The Blue Jays have said they're not moving Vlad, but then it's like, and we've talked about this. There are reports like, well, they're not like set. But then like just today, I saw something that's like, well, they're not like staunch. You might be able to get him.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised.
If the right deal comes along for Vlad, deal him. Don't pass up 4 or 5 prospects for the guy.
The Jays have already moved Danny Jansen to the Red Sox. They already moved Nate Pearson, right-handed pitcher, to the Cubs. And the Mariners picked up Yimi Garcia from the Jays as well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. So what I'm telling you is that your advice to sell is happening. The Rays selling like crazy. The Rays have moved.
Fire sale.
It's a fire sale, which they love to do. It's like their motto.
Every few years.
Isaac Paredes has moved to the Cubs. The Padres moved Jason Adam. We saw, let's see.
The Mariners got
Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, I have a buddy who lives in Florida. I don't know if he still lives in Florida, but he's in the Southeast. He's a Rays fan. He texts me. He's like, "So did we just like give you a Arozarena?" I was like, "No, you got some good guys back. Some really good guys back." Yeah. But thank you.
The Rays also moved Zach Eflin to the Orioles, so he'll be playing in Baltimore now. All this is very exciting. So
that shocks me that they made that move in division.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
And then the Mets picked up Phil Maton. A lot of things going on here, and Aaron Savali, which we talked about. So now, if you're the Red Sox, are you having panic or are you having patience? Because they are 6.5 games behind the Yankees, who are only a game behind the who are they? The Birds, the Baltimore Orioles.
No, the Orioles are up in first place in the division.
Oh, sorry.
The Red Sox.
Then the Yankees, then the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Red Sox are a game back of the Royals.
Yeah.
So this is the thing with the Red Sox is they're 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost
Mm-hmm.
back-to-back games. The Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 in that series.
At home. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah, at Fenway. So they're 26-35 against teams over 500. But the problem is that they're, I don't know, it's not the National League anymore where it's nobody's over 500. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you've got a winning record on the road, a losing record at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Honestly, I'm staying pat because the guys who have gotten you to this point, I don't feel like they've necessarily had to play out of their mind,
No, it's
right?
working. Yeah, it's
Whatever
true.
is going
Except for
on, like,
Jaron Duran, who doesn't know how to do
well,
anything but play out of his mind.
well, right, yeah, and I think that's just who he is. He's not
Yeah.
like he's playing above his career averages, but I think he's reaching like his potential, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody on that roster who's like, it's like, whoa, he's like 5 times his career average over the last like 6 years. There's no reason for him to be playing like this, but I don't know. I feel like the Red Sox are pretty stable. They need to figure out how to win at home, which is weird. But
Yeah, it's super weird.
they got the Mariners coming to town, and the Mariners don't play well there historically. So
It's going to be
there's
interesting to
that.
see.
Yeah, it will be.
Do you want to talk about the Yankees or should we move on to the Central? Like,
Let's
it's a
talk about
very
the Yankees
interesting
because
yeah.
I have questions for you. Oh, by the way, the Red
Okay.
Sox are going to be getting Tristan Casas back soon, so
Oh, that's right. That's right.
that'll be their
That'll be
trade deadline
interesting.
acquisition.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Yankees because I have a question for you.
Okay.
Jazz Chisholm, the Yankees traded for Jazz Chisholm. And
Yeah.
this seems like the most awkward situation for everybody involved
Yeah.
because Jazz Chisholm is so vibrant and flamboyant. I don't know if flamboyant is the right word, but he's an exciting player.
Yeah.
I know Juan Soto has gone in and done some stuff as far as changing the culture and the outward appearance of play with Yankee baseball this year because
Yeah.
Juan Soto is as demonstrative and showy as they come, just about. Like,
For sure.
there are a few other guys in the league who do it more than he does.
Yeah.
Is Jazz Chisholm going to be a good fit? Is he going to be comfortable in New York?
Mm. Well, there's two things to consider. I think he will rise to the level of showmanship that's required. Will his performance rise to the level that's required? I don't know. That's the real question. Aaron
Okay.
Boone says he's going to be a speed guy on the base paths, and they're going to give him a crash course at third base, given DJ LeMahieu's very steady decline.
Are they
So
really? That's one of
yeah,
the things they want to do is put him at third
that
base.
yeah, they're going to give him some looks at third base over the next couple of weeks. They're going to give some looks to Glaber at third base over the next couple of weeks. Um, they don't want Jazz at second, but he came up playing short and second, so he can do it. Um, uh, because he was principally a shortstop on his way to the major leagues, moving him to third doesn't make zero sense. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs to do it mid-season like this. But
Okay, but he's never played third base at the big league level.
exactly. Exactly. Now, it is the
And
easiest transition, but it will be interesting to say the least. And they're batting him fifth, Brad. He's always been the leadoff guy. They're batting him fifth in the lineup. They've got another lefty bat in there now, and they want him to steal some bags with Volpe. They're going to make him the 1-2 threat, the 1-2 punch on the base path. So you got Volpe leading off typically, and then you've got 2, 3, 4, and then Jazz, and 2, 3, 4 are big bangers.
interesting. That's really
It
interesting.
is interesting.
So, because I'm
So,
curious now, I'm looking like I'm furiously searching here, Brig. I'm curious how many games he's actually played at shortstop at the big league level.
I don't know the answer to that.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
That's a fascinating question.
41.
Ooh, that's a small sample size.
163
In
at second base. He's now played more in center field at 186.
yeah,
So he's played one game with the Yankees, and he played center field for the Yankees on Sunday.
right,
He
right.
didn't play on Saturday. and then DH 5, pinch hitter 11. But yeah, so second base and center field with just like a handful at shortstop. So that's sometimes there's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, and not only that, Glaber is driving the struggle bus. So if he's going to go, Jazz got to fill in. But now that means we have an immediate problem at third base. So, because DJ is a problem at third base right now.
Seems like
I'm
everybody's a
waiting to
problem at third
see.
base for the Yankees.
What's that?
Seems like everybody's a problem for the Yankees at third base.
Man, it's for real. So I'm waiting to see what other pins fall, right? Because this can't be it. If this, look at me, if this is all Brian Cashman brought to the table after this deadline, we're all going to grab our pitchforks. Like, seriously.
That, I will say this. You talked, was it last year, 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago? I don't know. It was a while ago about Cashman just collecting baseball cards. He was collecting names. He wasn't collecting
Yeah.
guys who fit together. He wasn't filling or meeting needs. He's just collecting baseball cards. Is this what? And that was my first thought when I saw the Yankees traded for Jazz Chisholm. I was like, what? Like, is that what that feels like to you? Is
It
Cashman
does.
collecting
It
baseball
does.
cards again?
It does. I do think, though, this will be a great show of capability for Aaron Boone. If Aaron Boone is able to squeeze what he's supposed to be able to squeeze out of this lineup, which we talked about last week, right? If he can find a way to get Jazz into the lineup, effective in the lineup, and spark some kind of, even if it's confusion, even if it's fear, even if all these other guys are like, is he going to take my spot if I don't perform? Are they going to choose somebody who's underperforming at a defensive position, but whose bat has capability? That might freak people out. I don't care what they got to do. Honestly, I don't care. And if that's the game, play it. Let's see what happens. There's no reason to not throw mud right now. None. You're in a perfect position to dink around for a minute and tinker and see what happens. But you can't take too long. You can't. You got like 3 weeks of tinkering, and then you have to set it up.
Well, I will say this. Fortunately, the Yankees, despite all their struggles, they're only a game back in the East. They're 4.5 up on the wild card.
Correct.
Right. So, and I mean, the Orioles are 5-5 in their last 10. The Yankees are 4-6. That's not bad. I mean,
it's not bad.
That's a game back right there.
Rome is not
right?
burning.
Like, no, it doesn't even smell like
we
smoke.
thought it was. We thought it was.
Well, it looked like it, but it was just a campfire.
I don't know. I think one of the rooms was ablaze. Luckily, there was a firewall built in, and the wall is the studs separating those two rooms are named Judge and Soto.
There you go. You're right. And now they brought in.
All right, let's move on to the American League Central. So the White Sox are selling off everybody. The Tigers. What are you
White
doing
Sox
if you're
are
the
essentially
Tigers?
eliminated from the playoffs already. Let's be real.
Right.
Like,
They're
really
0-10 in their last 10. Did you see that?
They've lost 14 in a row.
Yeah.
For the second time.
Yeah.
For the second time this year.
Right. They have currently won 27 games total.
Yeah.
They've lost 81 games. Unbelievable. So let's talk about the Tigers. They're 52-55. That's a 486. They're 12 games out of the division, 5-5 in their last 10. And if you look at the wild card situation, they are 5.5 back from the break-even point behind Tampa Bay, Seattle, Boston. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to stay in that hunt, so Detroit by default is going to move up. What are you doing? What is your assessment right now of the Tigers through the next 60 days?
It's tough with the Tigers because they should have been a lot better this year. And this is the thing is, like, I'm sure a lot of teams have called about Skubal, right? About Tarek Skubal,
yeah.
like we want him. And I'm sure that the answer was like, no, we're not going to trade him because they still have control with Skubal. Like, I'm looking right now, and he's not going to be a free agent until 2027.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's a couple more years. So there's no reason for them to trade him because they could come back next year and have another pretty good start like they had this year, and maybe sustain it. So I don't
Yeah.
think that they're. I think they. I don't think they should sell off because you want to keep the guys that you can,
Right.
right?
Yep.
But I kind of think that you shut down the winning side of things. I don't want to say shut down the winning side. Like maybe shut down the playoff race and shift your mentality to like we're probably not going to make it. Let's just play spoilers here on out. And if by us playing spoilers happens to get us into the race at the very end of the season,
Sure.
then let's go for it. Because 5.5
Yeah.
games is not a lot, but the teams you have to pass, the Mariners, Red Sox, probably the Astros, and potentially the Royals, like
Yeah. That's
those are
rough.
teams that I don't think they're going to catch.
I
So I think
agree.
you
So
shift your
for you,
mentality.
yep. And I was going to say the same thing. For me, the Tigers are in a developmental phase. The rest of the season is let's get some guys some at bats. Let's look at them. Let's put them into some stress situations and see how they perform. Let's take really good notes, which they're already doing. That kind of stuff is what I'm doing if I'm Detroit. But like you said, if they fluke into a bunch of wins, that's terrific. And who cares? That's awesome.
Well, then you ride the hot hand of the playoffs, possibly.
Right? What do you care?
Like, what do you have to lose at this point?
Nothing. You just play it however you want. Okay,
Yep.
Royals. 57 and 49, 6.5 games back. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They currently hold the line at the break-even point on the
Hold the
wild card
line.
games. Yeah, they hold the line at the break-even point in the wild card. That puts them at the third slot. What are you giggling about?
It's Homestar Runner reference. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I know you have an aversion.
I do,
Anyway,
which is fine. It's fine. Okay, if you're the Royals now, have the Royals done any acquisitions? Let's look.
I haven't seen that they have, and that's what I
They
was going to
did.
say. Is I feel like
They
who
acquired
they get?
Hunter Harvey from the Nationals, and that's it.
Okay, okay, yeah, like
That's a right-handed
that's a
pitcher.
need. That's a need. I'm glad that they
Yeah,
did that because, um, yeah, they need. I was going to say they need some bullpen help, and that's what they got from Hunter Harvey. Good for them. That's a good move. That'll help them.
yeah,
They're right.
yep.
That's what they need. That's like the one hole that they
A
have. They have good
bullpen
starting
piece.
pitching.
Yep.
They have an amazing. I don't want to say an amazing offense. They have a good offense. They just need some help in the bullpen to help hold those leads when they have them. So good for
Yep.
them. Good for them. And I think the Royals need to hold steady, keep doing what they're doing. They'll get there. They'll
I
get to the
agree.
playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to get to the playoffs.
The
And then
Royals
who
are
knows?
going to be the reason only one team from the AL West gets in the playoffs.
Yep, that is correct. Okay, the Twins are interesting because they are 2 games up in the wild card race. That's 4.5. Let's see, that's 2.5 games behind the Yankees in the wild card race, and they are sitting 5-5 in their last 10 with a record of 58 and 46. If you are the Twins, having made one infield acquisition, Rylan Bannon picked up from the Mets for what is reportedly unknown compensation on July 15th.
If it's anything like the
Then,
Mariners, $1.
yeah, then what are you going to do if you're the Twins? Obviously, you're going to hold steady at some level. But what are
Well,
you
so
panic? Is this a panic move? Is this a patience move?
it's
What
an
are we going to
interesting move
classify
because
this
he
as?
hasn't even played this year,
Right,
not at the big league level.
right,
And
Triple
he's
A.
a middle infielder, or no, sorry, he's a third baseman, second baseman. I don't think that move moves the needle at all. The Twins just, oh man, because they do a lot of things really well.
They
It's
do.
consistency is their problem. I feel
Yeah,
like, and staying healthy. Their stars can't stay healthy, right? Like
yeah,
Correa has plantar fasciitis now, and then
yeah,
Royce Lewis can't seem to ever stay healthy, unfortunately for them.
yeah,
Um, I think if those guys come back and they can play the rest of the home stretch, they'll be fine. Like they could threaten the Guardians because the Guardians are having some troubles right now.
yeah.
But
Four
uh,
and a half games, though? Are they 4.5 games threatening or no? because that's how
right
far
now,
back they
yeah.
sit on Sunday
Yeah,
night.
so let's talk about Cleveland for a minute. What does Cleveland have? The problem they have is their starting pitching.
Yeah,
Like, legitimately is a problem for them. Like,
but they're in
the
first
offense has
place.
turned around. The offense has turned around. Things have gone really well. But then the pitching,
Yeah.
not so much. Like,
So far, Cleveland has made 0 moves at to this
and I
point in the
think they're
deadline.
just waiting for guys to figure it out because that team they have, like,
It's a good ball club.
good ball club. They have the best record in the American League. They have the
Yep.
second best record in baseball.
Yep.
Like, second, yeah, they're tied for the second. No, they have fewer losses than the Dodgers. They have the second best record in baseball. So
Yeah, that's
there is
behind the
no reason
Phillies.
for them to panic at all. They just have
Yeah.
to be like, okay, like, how do we get back to what we were doing before? Like,
Yeah.
what does our pitching need to do to figure this out? I don't know. It would help if they went and they got a pitcher just to help
Mm-hmm.
infuse some of that back into the starting rotation. Um, but I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen.
I don't think so. I think they're going to hold steady. I don't think
And
they're
that's
going to
why I
do
think they're
anything.
gettable. That's why I think they're
Yeah.
gettable. If the
Yeah.
Twins go on a hot streak, they'd have to go on a hot streak to have it happen. And I don't know if that's
I
going to
agree.
happen.
Royals are not going to get them. It would have to be the Twins.
Right.
Okay, the
Yep.
American League West is really interesting. We've got the Athletics, we don't care. Angels, nobody cares. The Rangers, 51 and 55, 4.5 games back. They are 5-5 in their last 10. In the wild card, they are sitting way below Tampa Bay and Detroit. They're 6 games out. They seem to have a run differential of 0. Did you notice that? Their
Yeah, I
run
did notice
differential is
that.
0.
Yeah.
But they're 27 to 34 against teams over 500. That's not as bad as they look, because
Well, they
they.
did just get swept by the Blue Jays.
Oh my. Okay. Well. All right. So are you
So
panicking or are you having patience?
there are two things you can do. Patience is not one of the things you can do as the Rangers. You can either
Agree.
you can either panic and be like, okay, last year we made a couple of deadline deals and
Yep.
it took us to the promised land, or
Yep.
you can be like, we are not going to get enough pieces back in time to be able to keep up with the Mariners and the Astros, or just the Astros if the Mariners continue to fall. We need to sell.
So they just picked up catcher Carson Kelly from the Tigers, and they shipped
Right.
off 2 prospects. That does
So
not indicate
it
a
feels like they're
passive
panicking,
approach.
right?
Yeah.
I know, but at
Yes.
the same time, like Carson Kelly, they have Jonah Heim.
Exactly.
So it's not like they brought in an impact player who's going to like insert into the lineup every day and infuse his offense
No.
and his leadership into this team. No, he's a backup.
Yeah.
So to me, that's not a winning move.
No.
Bringing in Carson Kelly, I like Carson Kelly. Don't get me wrong, good player,
Right,
but he's not Jonah
it's not
Heim.
it doesn't even feel like a long-term move. It's not like,
No,
okay, but next year this guy's going to be the one. It's like, no,
right.
what is happening? And you're not offloading payroll or some other business decision by shipping off some prospects. I'm confused.
I did hear. I will say this. I did hear on Foul Territory last week that the Rangers had gotten to a point where they're kind of like, we're not going to be getting guys back in time. We're going to have to sell. That was like the approach. But then the Mariners lost a bunch of games in a row,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of. And I wonder if that was kind of like, well, no, hold on. But I think they've kind of
Yeah.
gotten back where they're getting in their own way. The Mariners have infused a little bit of offense into their lineup, and they're back to hitting again. I know it was the White Sox, but it was their 3 best pitchers who were pretty dang good. So.
They're pretty good. Yeah.
Right. So it's looking like it's going to be out of range for the Rangers.
I agree. Nicely
I
said.
don't know. I don't know if they're going to buy into that and start selling though in the next day.
So, right. So why pick up Carson Kelly? I have no idea what's going on. Right. It's screwball.
Chris Young's a good
Okay.
GM, but I don't know what he's doing.
Correct. Let's move on to the Mariners because this is fascinating. They're dead even with the Astros in the division race as of Sunday night. Okay, 56 and 51, 4-6 in their last 10. They did sweep the White Sox, and it was an away series. And Brad made it very clear that it was against their three best pitchers, who are no joke. And in the wild card situation, they're a game and a half back as of Sunday night. One behind the Red Sox, and then two behind the Royals, which is where that first spot holds. They have a plus 25 run differential. Brad, are you panicking? Are you having patience? And is Randy Arozarena enough?
So first, I was really panicking the other day, but then the Rosarina deal came through, and I started to have more patience. I was like, okay, this is not the last move. Went and got Yimi Garcia. That is a
Bingo.
great move.
Yeah.
He has been money the couple days that he's been pitching. Love it. But the one, Brig, this is one reason that I think we need to have a little bit more patience with this team going through the deadline, like after the deadline, because I do think they need to get one more bat. One more bat is going to do a lot for that lineup.
Yeah.
27-30 against teams over 500. It's not a bad record considering
It's
this
not
team
horrible.
went a long stretch and didn't score any runs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
they
true.
scored one run a game in 3 games against the Angels. The starting pitching gave up 1 earned run and they still got swept.
Yeah.
How does
You're
that
right.
happen?
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
I think everybody needs to just take a breath, have a little bit more patience with this team. It seems like this team's having more patience with itself. I do like that the front office did panic a little bit and was like, we need to go get a big hitter, get a swing and get a big hitter. And they got a Rosarina. And
It's
I
a
know
big
his
deal.
numbers were down at the beginning of the season, but he's been good since the beginning of June again.
Yeah.
So
He's going to be
Brig,
fine.
you get that dude in October and he takes 5 steps ahead of everybody else. He is a monster.
He is a monster.
So
what do you think of them shipping off Ryan Stanek?
he had a really good stretch for a while, but he has not been good for a couple weeks.
Okay.
I started calling him Stank.
Yeah, because they picked up Rylan Thomas as an outfielder for the acquisition, for the move.
Yeah, that was just a
24-year-old minor league outfielder. So
yeah, he's gonna stay in the minors because I mean, think about this, Brick. You got a Rosarina on the left right now. You got Robles in center filling in for Julio. Julio gets back from a high ankle sprain soon. You put Julio back in center. Put Robles in right. Robles, by the way, who got DFA'd by the Nats, has been playing like a man possessed since he got to Seattle. Holy cow!
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
He was pumped to get to Seattle, and he has been playing like this is where he's wanted to be his entire life. He's been the best player on the team the last 3 weeks.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. He's got an OPS plus of almost 200.
What?
He's been on
Seriously? Just the last 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Since he's been with the Mariners. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Let me look it up for sure. Because he's been absolutely unreal. Yeah, not 194 going into Sunday.
It's awesome. Now, I think the Astros make a lot of sense. We probably don't need to spend much time on them, but I think we can safely say they're being patient. They're going to hold steady. What they're doing seems to be working, and it's.
If
it's
I were
very
them,
exciting.
I'd go get Crochet. I don't know who or what you trade for Crochet. Maybe you just, I don't know, and maybe that's the thing because they have gutted their farm system over the last few years. They do not have a good farm system, so they don't have anybody that can trade for Crochet.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't know. So maybe that's why they have to be patient. They just have to rely on what they have.
It's working.
How many
at some level, capital. It's working. They're going to the playoffs at this point. It'd be very difficult to not.
Well, I'll tell you this. If the season were to end today, the Mariners would go. The Mariners would get the division. I know that the Astros have percentage points over them, but the Mariners hold the tiebreaker.
Right. But the Astros would still go to the playoffs in the wild card spot. They'd no.
Oh, in the wild card? I don't think so.
Hold on. I think so. 524. Oh, no. If it ended today, the Astros would not make it to the playoffs.
It'd be the Royals.
It'd be the Royals. Whoa.
Yeah.
This is a tight situation then. So you are definitely going to have patience in Houston because you simply must. Yeah. There's not a lot you can do. Interesting. Let's move on to the National League really quick. Let's start in the East. Marlins, nobody cares. Nationals, we know what they're doing. Let's talk about the Mets. 55-50, which is way better than I expected. They're
It is.
10 games back in the division, honestly.
That's why.
6-4.
It seems like they're so bad.
Yeah, 6-4 in their last 10. And in the wild card situation, we've got them. Oh boy. They're holding the
They're
line.
dead even.
Say it again,
Yeah.
Brad. They're dead even at the wild card. They've
Hold
got
the
that third
line.
spot. There it is. They've got that third spot locked in nice. Their run differential is really interesting. They're at plus 16, which again does not feel like accurate, but they swept the entire Subway Series from the Yankees and they did it with panache. So, like, let's be honest. They're not, you can't shake a stick at them.
No, and I think honestly with the Mets, you just have to be patient. You just got to keep doing what you've been doing with the guys you've been doing it with, because
Yeah.
this is what you expected to happen. You like all the talk of like, well, they're gonna have to trade Pete Alonso, like, and they were almost like,
Mm-hmm.
do we though? Do we?
Right.
Do
Mm-hmm.
we? No, we don't,
They
because
do.
we're gonna figure it out and we're gonna make some noise.
Now, they did acquire Phil Maton from the Rays. So, right-handed pitcher
And that
Phil
filled the
Maton
hole.
comes in. Fill the hole.
That'll
They
help. Yeah.
they they kicked out Ryland Bannon.
Not a big
They
no loss.
No loss there. They did lose Tyler J, left-handed pitcher Tyler J, and they picked up TJ Shook.
They brought in
They
Ryan Stanek.
and Stanek. Yep. And then Jesse Winker from the Nationals.
So here's the thing about Jesse Winker. Jesse Winker is a good vibes guy, like big time.
Mm.
One of the things that kind of tainted his legacy in Seattle, if that's what you want to call it, was
Sure.
on his way out the door, Ryan Divish, the guy who covers the beat writer for the Mariners for the Seattle Times, he said that Winker didn't really fit in the locker room because Mitch Haniger works hard and Jesse Winker doesn't.
Oh.
But
Okay.
but Jesse Winker willingly took on the entire Angels dugout when they threw at Julio.
True.
And that turned the entire season around.
Good clubhouse guy. Yeah.
Very good clubhouse guy as far as personality goes. Fans
Yeah.
love him. Like, there's a whole Jesse Winker pizza thing after that.
Oh,
and like,
cool. Yeah.
and he was a good vibes guy in Washington too. So I think he's going to bring good vibes to the Mets. I think it'll be a good pickup for them. He may not necessarily be the best player, but he's having a good year, so maybe he will be a good player for them. But I think
Right.
he's going to help keep things light when they need to be light down the stretch for them. I think it'll be a good pickup.
Like that for them. The Braves, 8.5 games back. Somehow. 4-6 in their last 10.
I think the Braves
And
need to turn into the skid.
You think so?
Yeah, just
Why?
hold the way things are, because
Okay.
too many injuries. Too many injuries.
Yeah.
You're not getting Albies back
still-
until 2 weeks left in the season.
They hold the number one spot in the wild card, but it's a game and a half up is all. It's very,
Right.
very small. They
You've
still
got the
have a plus
Diamondbacks, half a
56
game
run
back.
differential.
You got the Diamondbacks 2 games back of them. You've got
Yeah.
the Cardinals 2.5 games back of them. You've got the Pirates 3.5 games back of them. There are a lot of teams breathing down their necks that are healthy today. Knock on fake wood from IKEA. Right? There you go. You've got it.
I got you.
Like, there are not enough moves in the world that the Braves can make to fill the holes that have been created by injuries on that team.
Yeah.
Just play it out as it is. If you don't make it, you blame it on injuries and start over next year.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it's going to go with the Braves.
So I think it's tough because the Braves have put themselves in a really great spot. And I think that they have what it takes to continue to carry them into the playoffs. I have no idea how deep that takes them, though. But you're right. If they get some guys back, then we're going to have a different situation. So I'm having patience if I'm Atlanta. I don't know another way to do it.
I think Atlanta just has to shift their mindset. I guess patience is what it is. Is just you just keep doing what you're doing, and if it works, it works. If not, then like I said, just blame injuries, because everybody has injuries. Well, nobody gets snake bitten by injuries.
Yeah.
right?
Not like this.
Bad luck with injuries this year.
Yeah.
So
This is pretty intense.
yeah,
Then the Phillies are
it really is.
killing it. Okay, so the National League Central goes to our next question. Okay, this is fascinating, the NL Central. If you are Cincinnati and you're sitting 10 games back and you're tied with the Cubs 10 games back, what are you doing? Because you're still only 5 games out of the wild card race. Granted, you are like the 6th team down outside of the wild card because the wild card in the National League is a tight race. Even Washington's only 6.5 back of the wild cards conversation.
Right. I know.
There's only 2
This is the
teams who
thing.
are completely out.
So the Reds have held steady with what they're doing, right? Like the Reds have
Yeah.
not gone out and sold. Like they have a good team. And
Yeah.
they could get hot in August and be a real problem. And I'm still
Yeah.
not ruling that out.
Yeah. Well, they've got
Like
injury problems.
they do. I don't know, man. It's so weird with the Reds. I think so. Here's the thing. I gotta look and see real quick how much, because I think India has a couple more years of control left. He's not
He
a free
does.
agent until 2027.
That's right.
So I do think it's going to be telling to see what the Reds want to do with what they do with India in the next like day.
Yeah. Day and a half, maybe.
Yeah, like if they deal him
Well,
for
yeah,
prospects,
day.
they're holding out for next year. If they deal him
Yeah.
for a pitcher, if they deal him for a bullpen arm, then they're going in, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he's the piece that they move, and depending on what they get back, tells us their mindset.
So they just
'Cause I almost
acquired. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was gonna
No,
say
on the.
I almost just think like hold pat, like stand pat on it, like
Yeah. I think if you get rid of Jonathan India, you're either not running your business effectively or you're bringing a haul in. There's only 2 ways about it. And the problem with baseball business is when it comes to players and injuries and performance and hopes and dreams and everything, it's a very fickle business. So
yeah.
one in the hand is way better than 2 in the bush. It just is
Right,
way
I know,
better.
and that's what I'm saying. Like if if it's a baseball trade where you trade big leaguer for big leaguer, right? Like go for it,
Good to
man.
go. Good to go.
Do it because that can help you tomorrow. But
Yeah.
if you're going to trade for 3 prospects, then you're not going for it this year.
Nope.
And that's why I think like maybe the best thing is just keep India and go this year. If
Yeah.
it happens, it happens. If not, then you make deals in the off season. But
Yeah.
5 games is a lot, but it's not at the same time because they could very well flip a switch and find their groove in August because they're
It's
good.
so
It's a good
weird.
team. There's tons
It's a
of
good
talent on
team.
that team.
Same with the Cubbies. Cubbies are in the exact same
Not the Cubs. So the Cubs
situation.
made. Sorry, go ahead and then I'll talk about the.
The Cubs are in the exact same situation mathematically and on paper. But the tone, the feeling around this team is that they're like not doing it. They acquired
Right.
third baseman Isaac Paredes from the Rays because the Rays are just dumping people at this point. They also acquired Nate Pearson from the Blue Jays, who's a right-handed pitcher.
So in that Paredes deal, they sent Morel.
Yeah,
They sent Christopher Morel to
they did.
the Rays, which just that blew my mind. I was
Exactly.
surprised. I know that Morel hasn't
Right.
been what they wanted, but still.
But it's a third base swap. It's 1-to-1 plus some prospects. And now Isaac Paredes is a good baseball player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was on the
Like,
Mariners' radar there since like December.
yeah. 16 homers, a 792 OPS. So, and he's under club control till 2027. So, this is a big deal for the Cubs. Is it a big enough deal to send them all the way? Given that they are 5 games out of the wild card and they are number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the list of teams. I say
Okay,
no,
so
thank you.
and that's the thing is like it should be right because we've been saying all year it's a good team. Like what the heck is going
Yeah,
on? But
yeah,
the number that I have a problem with is that -7 run differential. The Reds have a +35 run differential.
correct.
Now, don't put everything into run differential, but it can
Nope.
sometimes be the difference between teams that have the potential to go off and the teams that are likely going to fall. The Mariners a few years ago had a minus run differential, but Scott Service said they had a plus 90 fun differential. And I feel like that was what made the difference. Was the clubhouse chemistry was what made the difference to get that team. They didn't make the playoffs, but they got close.
No. Yeah.
The Cubs do not feel like they have a plus 90 fun differential. If they did, I'd be like, man, they might be able to go.
That's
but they
what
don't.
I was going to say. The vibe check is failing.
It's off. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely off.
It's off. All right. Pittsburgh. Ooh, Pittsburgh. 7 games back. We're not going to probably worry about them clinching the division in any conversation ever at all. But they are 2 games back in the wild card conversation, and they're the 3rd team below the 0 mark. So they are, again, Diamondbacks are a half a game out of the wild card. St. Louis is 1 game. That blows my mind. And then Pittsburgh is also only 2 games back. I'm wondering, what are you doing if you're the Pirates, Brad?
Pirates
They
need
haven't
to get
made
a
a
bullpen
single
arm.
deal.
They need to get a bullpen arm.
Yeah.
No, they need to get a bat, honestly. And that's the thing that's hard is there are not a lot of bats on the market right now.
Right.
Like Paredes is gone, Rosarena's gone. You could get Yandy Diaz from the Rays, right? But I don't know if that's the move you want to make. I don't know. It's so weird because like if they got a little bit of offense, they could be really good.
Yeah. And that's what they need. They need some offense.
They passed the vibe check,
sure.
right? Minus 10 run differential, but they passed the vibe check.
100%.
There are certain teams that make losing look fun, and they're one of those teams that make losing look fun because they're still good. So,
well, they're over 500.
I know, but even when they lose, it still looks like, man, they just had a good time that game. Like they had a lot of fun.
Yep. Yep.
So, and just barely over 500, by the way.
Yeah, I know. 1 game.
I don't know. I think you make a deal if you can make the right deal for a bat, you do it. If not, then you just kind of try to ride the vibes to the playoffs, and you might be able to do it.
Yeah, probably not go deep, but get in there, shake it up a little bit.
I think they go deeper. I think that if they make it, I think they go deeper than you would expect them to because of that pitching staff, that starting rotation. Ooh, yeah, boy. I'm telling you, right? I've been telling you for a while.
Yeah, you have been. That's exactly right. But at the same time, they have a lot to overcome before they get there, and they're going to rely on other teams to lose in order to do it.
Yeah,
they can't just win their way there, and that's the problem. Okay, let's move on to the Cardinals. This boggles my mind that the Cardinals are only 6 games back in the division, and they're 1 game out of the wild card conversation. I remember earlier in the season when we were writing them off. We're like, nah, it's over.
Don't I know. For a long time.
and I'm not saying we are going to change. I'm not saying I'm going to change my mind right this minute. I think this is a testament to how good the Pirates have been, which is weird, but I think the Cardinals are on paper better than they are from the eye test. I'm not buying it. I don't care. I'm just not buying it. I think if you're going to sit here and tell me that the Pittsburgh Pirates, if they make it into the playoffs, they go deeper than you think. I'm telling you right now that if the Cardinals make it into the playoffs, they go less deep. They do not continue to drive deep into the playoffs. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, granted, it seems like Golding's figuring it out, but we're still not getting the Arenado that they need, right? Like I think this team is going to get tired here when you hit the dog days. So
and I think Tommy Edman could be on his way out, and that's for me one of the linchpins. If they move Tommy Edman, they're packing.
Can you move him when you're only a game back in the wild card? Like that's crazy.
If you get the right deal, you have a minus 48 run differential. If you get the right deal for Tommy Edman, and you can pick it up next year, as crappy as it sounds, but you only have 60 days to figure it out. I'm saying if the right deal came along and you get a chance, you take it.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
And they haven't made a single.
I don't think they're going to sell. I think it's just. I think what it is, they're going to end up having patience with the whole thing, and they're just going to tail off. That's what's going to happen. Okay,
The Brew Crew, they're sitting pretty. Okay, let's move
They're
on to the
fine.
National League West really quick. The Rockies, forget about it. They're 25 games out. The Giants are interesting. They're 10 and a half games back, 53 and 55. After all that, acquisitions on the hot stove this offseason, this past offseason, with all the fireworks with Blake Snell and Matt Chapman and everything. I am shocked that they're doing this poorly. I'm also shocked that I've seen rumors of selling off Blake Snell already at the deadline. That's
Well, I mean,
fascinating.
he hasn't been a fit, right?
Clearly,
Hasn't
he's
worked.
still a terrific pitcher. I
He
think
is,
maybe it
yeah.
is only a
But
culture
this is the
problem or
thing.
something.
This is the thing, though, with Blake Snell is that like I almost feel it almost feels like the secret is out on him. Like the dude
Hmm,
walks everybody, just don't swing unless he makes you.
for sure.
So I
I
wonder
think
if
we
that's
talked
part of
about
the
this
problem.
last week. Didn't we talk about
I
that
think
last
so.
week?
We talked about it a little bit ago. Yeah. They made a deal. Who did they get? Why can't I think
I'm
of
gonna
who
look.
they got?
I'm gonna look right now. They picked
Um,
up Mike Bauman from the Mariners, right-handed
oh,
pitcher Mike
that's
Bauman.
right. Yeah, Bauman. Yeah, he's a good bullpen arm. Like he has his moments where he's not good, but he's fine. He's not going to make a difference for them now. But I honestly think they're just going to sit there and see if whatever is going on, and see if guys can make it work. If not, they're just like, meh.
Bauman's been dealt twice this season.
Yeah,
He started with the
yeah.
Baltimore Orioles.
He got. I think he got DFA'd by the Orioles, and the Mariners picked him up off waivers. That's what happened. But
Crazy.
yeah, no,
That's
I don't think the
crazy.
Giants are going to be able to put it together. But let's talk about the D-backs, Brig,
Yeah, the D-backs are fun to talk about.
because they are still the second best offensive team in baseball as far as just
It's
scoring
crazy.
runs goes. They are 55 and 51, 7.5 back in the division. They're not going to catch the Dodgers. Half a game back in the wild card, as we've said. 6 and 4 their
Yep.
last 10, plus 20, plus 26 run differential, 26 and 31 against teams over 500.
Yep.
Now, their issue is their pitching.
Yeah.
And that kind of ebbs and flows with everything else, I feel like, especially since it's primarily their bullpen. They get guys back. Eduardo Rodriguez still has not pitched for them, I believe. And he got hurt in spring training. And so, yeah, Rodriguez has not pitched for them. So Jordan Montgomery's figuring it out. Paul Sewald has been up and down as their closer, but Kevin
Yeah, up
Ginkel
and
has
down.
been good.
Wow, Ginkle's
Brandon
awesome if
Fat
you
has
can get him to
been
be awesome.
yeah. Brandon Fat has been good. Zach Gallen has come back to himself.
Yeah.
So
Thank
I
goodness.
think honestly, I don't think they need to make any moves. They just need guys to just get playing like they know how.
A couple days ago, they did pick up left-handed pitcher AJ Puck from
Oh,
the
that's
Marlins.
right. And I'm not impressed by that move.
Me
Puck,
neither.
like, that's not your guy.
It's
I mean,
not
I
the
guess
guy.
he's another arm in your bullpen that can help, but he's
He
not your
is.
savior.
44 innings up to July 25th. He'd had 44 innings, 4.30 ERA. He's 29. Began the season with a 9.22 ERA. Ooh, that's rough. Oof.
Yeah.
Anyway, bullpen guy, going to be interesting. Again, not an impressive move. Okay, the Padres. This is the last one. Padres are 57 and 51, 7 and 3 in their last 10. They're 6.5 behind the Dodgers. I don't think they'll catch up. They are half a game up in the wild card race, plus 34 run differential, 30 and 31 over teams against teams over 500. Now, for me, the Padres are doing a great job. They still need to make a move. They yesterday, I think, acquired
Yeah.
Jason Adam from the Rays,
Mm-hmm.
who's a right-handed pitcher, and that's going to be awesome for them, just to have
Yeah,
another
he's another bullpen arm
arm.
for them.
Yeah,
It'll be I think that's what they need. Didn't they get a position player? I thought they got a position player.
I don't see any rumors
Maybe
of a
not. But I mean
position
their big
player
acquisition was Luis Arias.
for sure. Who has
Like
been
that's
stellar.
and turned things around.
He is he's the reason. He's the that
So
was the move that changed everything.
So I think what it is the Padres may have panicked a little bit early and made the move
Mm.
before everybody else, and it's paid dividends, and they can just kind of ride it the rest of the way, and they're going to make the wild card.
Yeah, I think so. I think though, if it's possible to pick up an arm, you do it. I don't think they need bat support. I think they need
A
arm
lot.
support.
That's one of the things is a lot of times it's like just another bullpen arm, just another bullpen arm, right? Because you can never have too many bullpen arms to like
Just
lengthen
lengthen
that
out the
thing out,
game.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So if they can't, I don't think you press for it. I don't think you like force a deal. But if one is there, that's where the price is right. Make the deal, get it done, and you're good.
And
But
ride it out. See what
I
happens.
think if it's not there, I'm not worried about it. If I'm the Padres,
But if you're the Padres, you're not taking no for an answer going into the playoffs.
right?
That's the cool thing. I think they are a threat, and it's very exciting.
Yep, that's who we thought they'd be for sure.
Yeah. Finally.
Right.
We've only been sitting around waiting.
Yeah.
Now it's here,
But
and it's
baseball family,
terrific.
let us know what you think about your team. Should they be panicking or having patience going into and coming out of the trade deadline? Do you think they're going to be a playoff team? You think your team is going to be playing spoiler? Let us know. Did I say spoiler or spoily? I think it's
You
spoily.
said
Playing
spoily,
spoiler.
and I loved it.
Gonna be playing spoiler the rest of the way. Let us know what you think down in the comments on YouTube. It's probably the best place to do it. Or you can send us an email,
Yeah, you can do that.
baseballteetherpod@gmail.com. You can reach us there.